I'd like to now call on Air Chief Marshal Sohail Aman to please give our thanks to our panel here. Is he in the house? Oh, there he is. Please forgive me, sir. Great to see you again. Air Chief Marshal Sohail Aman. And I do believe we have our wonderful books. And you'll also give the closing remarks. We're going to get some value from you, so we have 2 jobs for you this afternoon. I hope they haven't just given you a surprise. The closing remarks now, and then, okay, and then the books. Okay, so bear with us just another moment. There's been a little shift. So thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum and very good evening. It's a surprise, but a very pleasant one. I'm thrilled, excited. What an amazing panel and the discussion we've had. I can't wrap up everything, but there are few principles that I might very quickly touch upon. I saw a few of those come out very clearly. As leaders of the organizations and the businesses that you head, I used to wonder when I was invited to the business seminars what a military person has to do in the business seminars, but very quickly I sifted out that there are huge commonalities. As a leader, the very first basic instinct of what value system are you carrying and what is really motivating you? Is it about your country? Is it about innovation? Is it about even wealth, technology? I mean, that ingredient right in your mind to be a leader and transform those values out to each and every individual of your organization is the first thing that stems from a leader. But then your ability, and I think it was briefly touched upon, converting challenges to opportunities. And not only the hope, but then really changing the entire scenario from 25 million children from school, not a hope, putting them into the school. Your ability to change and your ability to convert those challenges into opportunities is what matters. We did touch upon education, but that education does 2 things. And a good leader has to bring that education down to the lowest tier of his organization. It does 2 things, brings in technology, and of course you move forward with the technology, you bring in more intensive systems, and then innovate and do things. And I'll talk about these very briskly. How did we experience it in our Air Force? But then more importantly is that it tells you how to become a good citizen and a good human being. If the education is not teaching you how to become a good human and a good citizen, honestly, there's no use of the first one. All right, these are very few broad characteristics of a leader that I thought about. It's been about 1 year that I put off my uniform, and the 3 years of the command were absolutely amazing. Understanding what the younger generation is been touched upon. If to our generation, if you ask them time, most of us will look at the time and say 5:05. You ask a 20 years old, he'll flip his cell phone and say 1706. So the responsibility of understanding the younger generation's needs and their minds rests with the leaders who may be relatively elder than those. I think this is what we realized very quickly. And now, within the next about 2-3 minutes, I'll give you how the small initiatives can lead into the strategic dividends. And I'll also tell you how the challenges can be converted into opportunities. It's about 6 years, and not a long time back, that our country was into the grip of huge terrorist attacks. No city was escaped. Every day you could hear 2 or 3. And that is where one of our Air Force bases was hit by the terrorists, and we lost one very potent asset of a SAB aircraft, which is surveillance aircraft, and we got 2 damaged very, very badly. I personally think this was the turning point for this country, and not for this Air Force alone. We went on and looked at it, and the SAB, Sweden, wanted $348 million to repair those airplanes and not certify them. You can't drive a vehicle without certification. And we went on, and we decided that we'll go ahead and certify these or repair these aeroplanes ourselves. Repairing a very highly sophisticated aeroplane is by no means a small job. And the first challenge that we had was we can't certify these aeroplanes even if we repair. That is where a challenge you'll see getting into a complete opportunity. A very small group of PhD scholars were put to study what the certification agency is. And certification is a very, very comprehensive and a very detailed process. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 years ago, there were 4 certification agencies in the world. Europe put together aviation certification. Europe put together, they made the Typhoon, and they were certifying the aeroplane. 1.5 years down the line, Pakistan Air Force was the 5th certification agency in the world. We quickly innovated and repaired those aeroplanes. They were flying up in the air, and the certification was done, and that's how you start. And very quickly, we realized that we don't have to put our hands out and ask any other country for the sophisticated weapons. And that is where our younger generation came up, and we put the industry and the academia together. We put a research organization. I think the point which was made out here, that bring in those new organizations. I think the Bank of England, the president said about this. And truly speaking, you have to bring those organizations. And we have the vice chancellor of the university sit here. He's the man who took that initiative of putting a research institute right next to our industry. So we had the industry, we had the research institute, a proper university, and the design center and certification agency bringing it together. We built the most sophisticated weapons that the West could provide us, or even the Chinese could provide us, 1 year. Our weapons, when tested, brought the results which were far better than any of those weapons which were taken by the West. Look how quickly an intellectual resource of an education transforms into developing good technology assets. But then for the military, it is not only the technology. You saw the same very technology of the JF-17 and the weapons, everything being utilized in one day when the situation so changed. We are not to ask other countries to give us those weapons or the aeroplanes and everything. And the point here is that very quickly your own tactical missions translated into huge strategic dividend as well as leverage for the government to negotiate on few things that happened in the last 2 weeks, which you're quite witness to. The message is respect and understand the new generation and their abilities, unleash them. Sky is the limit. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It was such an enjoyable session, and all that I heard, a great learning for me as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Air Marshal Sohail Aman. Thank you so much. We're absolutely thrilled as we close off this wonderful conference, these wonderful 2 days, to have with us the Federal Minister for IT and Telecom from Pakistan, His Excellency Khalid Maqbool. So we're absolutely delighted to have you here. And having you here, we're inviting you to the stage now to please also pay recognition to all of our people here. And you have met him, have you? So, but stay with us. And also to present the token of appreciation for all of our dear panelists. So, and of course, Air Chief Marshal, please stay with us. We have a gift for you also. So, once we get everybody started and everybody gets acquainted with each other, you get the advantage of meeting him regularly. So, and also joining us, of course, Asfar Hassan. So now, if I might ask one by one, to presentation first, if you can move a little closer to the stage. Is Ali Akai in the house? Where is he? We've been having him help us do the presentations for the last 2 days. And have I lost him? Where is our CEO of Martin Dow? Is he here? Mr. Ali Akai? Okay, hopefully if anybody sees him, tell him we're looking for him and he maybe will join us. So our first presentation, perhaps if you can move a little closer to the stage and we can divide our teams together one to the Air Chief Marshal Sohail Aman. Okay? John Newbegin. John, please, thanks again for all of your contribution to our panel. We're very, very grateful for all of the contribution that you've done. Thank you so much. To Hans Wall. Thank you so much, Hans, for your contribution. Thank you, Hans. Valentina Kusisia. Valentina, thank you so much for all of your inspiring words. Professor Francis Davis. Professor Davis, thank you so much also. Julia Middleton. Julia, thank you for your great words of inspiration, and I think you're going to be very busy in Pakistan. And of course, to our dear moderator, Faraz Khan. I think we've got everyone. Thank you so much. This is maybe a group photo, if we can move everybody there. Forgive me? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Please, please forgive me. Now I'm in big trouble. It was going so well. Forgive me on our last panel there. I'm very, very sorry. So we're good. I think we have everybody. We have a group photo?
1 minute.
Okay.
One book for our wonderful, brilliant moderator of the conference. I think she deserves a standing ovation. Please. Mr. Khalid Maqbool Siddiqui.